Good morning. Here we are again at the 2018 edition of Fitur this year, and we have honor to receive once again the Minister, Mr. Charles Banda, Minister of Tourism and Art from Zambia. Good morning, Mr. Minister.
Good morning, and thank you very much for inviting me once again.
Thank you. So we see that you once again here in Fitur to promote tourism of Zambia. My first question will be, what makes Zambia so attractive? What makes the difference between Zambia and other destinations?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, I want to say that we are very happy to be back to Madrid this year to attend the Futuro again. And I want to say it here that we find this fair as one exit for us and entry point at the same time into the world tourism market. As you may wish to know, so many people do visit this fair from within Spain, but the world over. As a result, I think we find it to be a very conducive place for us to come and showcase what Zambia is in as far as tourism is concerned. So it is indeed an entry point from that view, because it's here that we can easily get in contact with colleagues like yourselves, those who have the capacity to tell the world about tourism news and where it is happening. And I'm very happy that I'm here with you, because I know that through you, the world will be able to know exactly where Zambia is and what we offer. Now, coming back to your question as to what makes Zambia different, I'll tell you that Zambia is actually a very unique country in as far as the product offering is concerned. We have a variety or a large range of attractions, ranging from cultural heritage, eco-tourism. Everything is there. If we go specifically to look at national parks, for instance, Zambia has got 20 national parks and 36 game management areas. And in these areas, we have got all that you would want to see. When you see it in Zambia, you will have seen it all. You don't need to go anywhere else, except maybe for adventure. We have all types of animals or wildlife that we can talk about. The big five, for instance, you see them in Zambia, then you have seen it all. And in Zambia, for your own information, we've got a lot of areas which we have maintained in their natural state. For instance, we talk about the South Ronghua National Park, which has already been identified by the World Tourism Organization, that's the United Nations World Tourism Organization, as a park for sustainable tourism development. It is in its natural state. There's a river there, the Luangwa River, which is in its natural state, not disturbed. Therefore, the environment there for the animals, very, very natural, undisturbed, least developed to say. We haven't put in too much modern development in that area, which means it is a favorite area for wildlife. Vegetation is as intact as ever before. So it is such kind of area. It's not just the South Luangwa. We've got many other areas that we can point at, like the Kasanka National Park, where you have a river which has never been, overdeveloped. The banks have not been overdeveloped. The river is as intact as it has always been. The environment, the trees, everything in their natural state. So Zambia is one such country where if you are looking for natural habitat, pristine environment, you find it there. But apart from that, we have got very unique culture in Zambia. Very diverse. We have 72 ethnic groupings, but each one of them with some very, very unique cultural, cultural belonging. For instance, we have the Kwamboka ceremony, which we are hoping to enlist on UNESCO now, We've already done the Makishi in the Western Zambia with the UNESCO. We've already done the Gule Wamkulu from Eastern Province. That's a Nyau dance in Katete district of the Chewa people, already under UNESCO. We have the Barotse Plains in Western Province, which we hope to enlist on the UNESCO heritage list, and quite a variety of them. And you may wish to know that apart from the Victoria Falls, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world and enlisted under UNESCO, we have more than 18 more waterfalls in Zambia, which we need to develop as tourism products to be able to market to the world. In that score, I think we are very, very lucky. I don't think there's any other country in the region or Africa which has such a number of waterfalls compared to Zambia, a number of parks compared to Zambia, natural habitat compared to Zambia. I think in that, even the diversity of culture, I think we are second to none. If we look at the region where we are coming from, the Southern African region, we are second to none. And this makes me believe that even in Africa, that's why we are among the top 10 sure destinations for tourism and tourism development on the continent. It's because of the outlined activities which I have just given you. So I think Zambia is a very good destination for tourism.
Additionally, we know that the South Ronghua Park, National Park has been declared as the first national sustainable park in the world by UNWTO the last October. Congratulations for that. And we know that one of the details that we're going to have also some Wi-Fi zone in the park, so connectivity. So it's very sustainable. I think it's going to be a reference throughout the world in order to make them the followers copy the exemplarity of Zambia. We know that we have Zambia got some opportunities of investment. So can you tell us about these opportunities of investment in Zambia?
Thank you very much. That is a very good question and very important to us. That's one of the reasons why we are always coming out to places like Madrid here and everywhere else. I may wish to mention here that we shall be also attending the ITB in Berlin. The purpose is one and the same, that we should market to the world the opportunities, investment opportunities in our country. When we are talking about investment opportunities in the tourism sector, we are talking of things like hospitality facilities. We would like to partner with colleagues that have the competence in hotels, lodges, and so forth and so on, because we have so many areas in Zambia which we could call virgin areas in as far as infrastructure development is concerned. The Northern Circuit, for instance, where we have the Kabwelume Falls, where we have the Lumangwe Falls, where we have the Ntumbachushi Falls, where we have the Kundalila Falls, we have the Kalambo Falls, all very beautiful and spectacular areas, but it has been very difficult to attract tourists, both local and foreign, in those areas because of the lack of infrastructure. This is where we want to start from. Those that have the capacity and the interest are invited to come to Zambia to see these areas, and I think they're going to agree with us that these are areas which require their investment. Kasaba Bay, for instance, we have got a very beautiful site for massive investment along the shores of the Lake Tanganyika. No one would make a mistake if they went into Kasaba Bay, because the moment we have infrastructure there, I think it will be a sure destination for tourist arrivals. So we also have other areas like airlines. We are trying to become connected to the world, and the only way you can connect yourselves to the world is by way of introducing more flights into Zambia, and this cannot be done by ourselves alone. I think we need a lot of partnerships from outside so that we can become connected, because connectivity is one sure way of attracting more tourists to a destination. When you have problems with the connectivity, very few people would want to visit your place, because maybe one of the main hours that they will spend flying to your place, or the main connections that they're going to endure before they arrive in your place. So that's another of the areas that would say it has opportunities. We are talking to Iberia, for instance, here in Spain. They fly to South Africa, but Zambia is on the way to South Africa. Why not drop off some passengers, pick up some passengers also from there? There are many other airlines which are connected to South Africa, but can have a stopover in Lusaka. And because of that, we are preparing for the future. We are doing a lot of developments and improvements to our international airports, including Lusaka, Ndola, Livingstone, because we believe that people will become interested one day, especially when they realize that Zambia is a sure destination for good and enjoyable tourism. Yeah.
Last year you were here. You talked about some aim to be reached. Have you got some objective from last year to now after one edition to another of Fitur?
I'm happy you have asked that question. The answer is yes. We have had a lot of inquiries. You know, each time we have come here, we have engaged our colleagues from the Madrid Chamber of Commerce, who have been very, very gracious enough to mobilize the business community in Spain to engage with us. And we had a trade mission last year. Some Spanish investors did come to look at what is there and how they can get involved. And you know, this is not a thing that happens there and then. People have to come and see, do their feasibility study, and when they are convinced there's something that they can do, definitely they will come. And I want to tell you that we also had another meeting this year with the colleagues in the Chamber of Commerce of Madrid, and they have assured us that there's yet another trade mission coming to Zambia this year, which will be led by the Vice President of the Madrid Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Castaneda, and they will be in Zambia from the 7th of May to the 11th of May. He's coming with a team of potential Spanish investors in Zambia. We have some people who have already started doing business in Zambia, and they came with us to Madrid this time to come and say it to the other business people here in Madrid that Zambia is actually the place for them, for a lot of factors, of course. You know, Zambia has remained a very peaceful country for over 50 years now. We have changed governments 6 times through peaceful elections, and that is a sure sign of how stable politically we are. The economic climate in Zambia, very, very stable. And this is what we are telling them, that even the laws that we have in Zambia protect foreign and local investment. No one can ever lose their money or their investment because of political matters or economic uncertainties or anything of that sort. When you put your money in Zambia, your money will be intact and it will be there for the purposes it is intended for. So in a nutshell, yes, there have been a lot of inquiries from the Spanish investors to come to Zambia.
During the UNWTO Zambia government conference on sustainable tourism, some measures have been taken. We know that also you organizing a campaign to educate the population in order to be sustainable. Yeah. So can you tell about a bit more about that?
You know, tourism without involving the locals cannot survive. You have to involve the communities, because the moment you involve the communities, it means you are going to score very big success in as far as conservation and protection of the environment and wildlife is concerned. So what we have done in our country is that we as government are working through the communities, whom we have organized in what we call CRBs, Community Resource Boards. The information that has gone to them is that the wildlife and environment belongs to them. And if we can use the environment and the wildlife in a sustainable manner, in a business-like manner, we are going to gain, both the government and the community. And when we are going to follow that one religiously together, as government and the communities. It means that there will be a reduction on wanton destruction of wildlife through poaching and through destruction of the environment. So the communities have taken it upon themselves to know that they are actually in business together with government. Because whatever money is realized from hunting, the concessions, and so forth and so on, about 50% of that money goes back to the community. It goes back to the chiefs and the CRBs that we have as a direct benefit from the natural resource which they are looking after. So that is one priority area which we think we must actually grow. It must grow. The responsibility in our people must actually grow. And this will be done through continuous sensitization of the communities that the wildlife and the environment belongs to them. After all, the returns will go back to them to help them out of what we call poverty, for instance. Everyone is looking for some economic survival, and one way of making them survive economically is by involving them in the conservation and protection of the wildlife that we have in those parks and the environment.
So we know that also Zambia is a destination for reference. So each year you receive a percentage, an amount of visitors. So I want you to tell us how many visitors you receive per year. Also, how many Spanish visitors also you receive in Zambia.
That's a very good question. I'll tell you that the numbers haven't been very good, and that is what we're fighting to improve on. The reason is simple, that in the past, tourism was looked at as a social sector, not much as an economic sector where you have to invest for bigger returns. It was just a sector to show the people we have this, but anyway, it is there. It's just a service, and we never looked at it as an addition to our GDP. Until after we have come to realize that tourism, after all, is a big money spinner world over. We are talking about creation of jobs, we are talking about creation of wealth. The world is creating wealth, and the world is creating jobs through tourism. So until last year, our president, Mr. Edgar Chagwalungu, did come to a realization and reclassified tourism as an economic sector and no longer a social sector. And that's where it has started from. And from there, that's where now we are saying, what strategies do we put in place to ensure that we increase the numbers of tourists, both local and foreign? Because tourism doesn't only depend on foreign tourists. It has to depend on local tourism. The local people must understand that they must visit, understand, and know what they own. They should be the first ones. In fact, they should be in bigger numbers themselves before the world comes to see what we have. So we have a strategic plan which we have drawn, and in that strategic plan, number one is to ensure that we do infrastructure development, we do product development, and after we have done all these things, what we require to do is to do aggressive marketing. Let's put Zambia where it belongs, where it rightfully belongs, the land of the Victoria Falls. We know some countries who are benefiting through the use of the name Victoria Falls, and yet they don't own not even a meter of the Victoria Falls. We were so relaxed, and yet we were the product at our backyard. Our colleagues did massive marketing of the Victoria Falls. We have to come to it now and reclaim what is ours. Let the world know that Zambia is actually the land of the Victoria Falls. That's where the Vic Falls are. We're not blaming our colleagues who took advantage of that. I mean, they came to realize at first that there was a product to sell. And we thought it was just there, it's ours, so what? But it's a money spinner. So marketing has been a problem. We haven't done aggressive marketing. And we would like to get into that so that we can increase on the numbers of tourists to Zambia. The numbers, I will tell you that they have always been below 1 million per year. But we are targeting to start moving upwards, and we hope that by 2020, the arrivals should surpass 1.3 million. If we can get 1.3 million arrivals by 2020, it means then we are game for the business. We need to do a little bit more, invest more, market more, put Zambia where it belongs, so that within the next 5, 6, 7 years, at least we should be quite competitive in the numbers like our colleagues in the Southern African region. So our problem has been that we were not classified as an economic sector. As a result, there was a lot of laxity in the marketing approach. But because we've realized we can create wealth and the jobs that we require more, then it's our time now to do it. It's our time to do it. Let's do the infrastructure development. Let's do the product development. Let's do the marketing. Let us train our people to realize that tourism is actually the in thing. And then we'll be there.
Let's talk about security, because we know that security is one of a factor of attraction to the tourism that creates condition. I visited personally Zambia, and I know but I want you to tell more about security, because I know it's a safe country, and so I know that the audience want to know about security.
I'm very grateful for that question. In as far as security is concerned, the peace that you are going to find in Zambia is second to none. There's every security for the locals and foreigners that come to visit us. And this comes because of the political environment that is prevailing in Zambia. What we know most in Zambia is peace. And the law is very clear that wayward people, those that think they can bring confusion, the long arm of the law will definitely be very quick to be at their doorsteps. Zambia is a very peaceful country. Peaceful in that you come in as one piece and you go back and out in one piece. The security which is there is both for you and everybody else as a visitor, but at the same time, even for the investment that you are going to bring to Zambia. Zambia is definitely, like you have said, a very peaceful country. Very secure. You don't have to look over your shoulders when you are in Zambia.
So now, Minister, feel free to say something about the audience, about the people who are watching us.
Well, my appeal to the people who are watching us, if you have never heard about Zambia, you have not been to Zambia, this is your opportunity. Zambia is a land of plenty. You will not regret knowing Zambia. You will not regret when you come to visit Zambia. You will not regret investing in Zambia, because we have got a very conducive climate to do business in Zambia, where your investments are very safe. You will make your money there, which allow you. We have got laws that will allow you to keep what belongs to you without any interference at all. All your investments in Zambia are very safe. There is every opportunity. We have just started. If you came today, you'll be among those that are going to begin the process with us to do development, especially in the tourism sector. So I wish to appeal to everybody out there. If you have the money and you want to invest it where the returns will be more, come to Zambia.
Thank you very much, Minister Charles Banda, for giving us opportunity to expose about this beautiful country that is Zambia. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the 2018 edition of Fitur in Madrid. We keep on forecasting. Thank you very much. Talk to you very soon.